Hi, Joe Cerrone.
And Al Rosen.
Welcome to CAD 116, Basic AutoCAD, in our weekly Zoom classroom meeting. All right, so sequence of topics, Module 8, utility commands, obtaining information about the drawings relates to Chapter 15, AutoCAD and its applications. If I look at Chapter 15 in our digital textbook, obtaining drawing information, goes through, and I realize it's small. I don't know if I can make it any bigger because it's a little glitchy here. Let's see. There we go. That's where the navigation is. So what we're going to do in chapter 15 is use the computer to measure distance, radius, diameter, angles, and area. And then we'll list that data. We'll be able to determine the drawing status. And so as we start to work with these learning objectives, what we're looking at the outcomes is the computers are awesome math machines, and they're so good. That's kind of how I got into it myself, because my calculations weren't that great, but when I used CAD, it would do most of the work for me. And so we want you to go through chapter 15, look at how we can go through and analyze our drawings, things like using grips to analyze perimeters or lengths or radiuses of circles, arcs, distances, areas. And we have a very good assignment to show you the practicality of that. And Al's put this information into the main splash page as well, where it's very common to calculate out room sizes in square footage for things like carpeting or hardwood flooring or any type of materials, because you can get a very accurate measurement, especially on rooms that aren't necessarily rectangular in length, because you can set it up to analyze objects and things like that. And so the textbook goes through a number of different things like listing data. These are kind of old school ways to do things. I still use those techniques when I'm working with CAD. I hit the F2 key, and F2 is what's called the flip screen. It'll go into the calculations by the computer. I don't much use the AutoCAD calculator. I find the desktop calculator on my computer is right there, and I use that quite a bit. But as we look through this textbook chapter, the content that we want to focus on is how to calculate mechanical and architectural measurements. And so I'm not sure why I think I hit it on the wrong. Put it back. So as we look at module 8, we have this video here on chapter 15. If I click on it, so I go through the lecture, and then I show you how that relates to the text or the lab assignments themselves. I think I'm bringing in some of the analysis from when we built the Skokie campus. And we didn't build it, but we had to do it's very common to have to approve the architectural lab environments when you work for a school. And so whenever they build something, we go through and the architects will give us the plan, and they'll say, hey, does this look like, do you see any problems in it? And so I think I pulled up the Skokie campus room P103 where they teach engineering, and we calculated out the perimeter. And then we also look at mechanical applications where we calculate out these inquiry problems for mechanical. And looks like I'm looking for the file, but here it is. What we'll do is we'll bring up this gasket drawing, and then we'll answer these questions. And I walk you through how to do those drawings. And the reason that we do that is because if you decide to get a certificate from Autodesk, this is how they test you. And it's not a bad way to go. If you're working on school, a lot of it is having titles and qualifications so that you get the green check mark when you apply for a job. And I know that because we do several hiring committees here at the college, and the computer will actually check to see if you have certifications in certain area. And if you do, you get the green check mark and you move into the next round of interviews. So as you start to build your toolbox of skills, analyzing CAD drawings is a good skill to have, and getting certifications in those areas only helps you. And so the drawings that we're going to choose from are either this architectural drawing, where we have a floor plan with 3 bedrooms, a stairwell, and some laundry and bathroom areas. And it's just a blank floor plan. And what we want you to do is to be able to calculate out the square feet of these rooms. And the same for the gasket, where we will give you the dimensions to draw the gasket, and then we'll have you go through these analysis commands. If we look at the videos, here's another video here.
That's the architectural floor plan.
Al, you're the best. I tell you, look, we almost have the same backgrounds.
Yep.
So the architectural application is excellent. It gives you the opportunity to go through and calculate the room areas. And these are taken from the AutoCAD certification manual. And so it's not a bad idea to get a certificate from Autodesk. They have AutoCAD. They also have certifications in other technologies as well, like SolidWorks and Revit. And so this one walks you through, shows you how to answer the questions. And I've got a little bit of latency, so I'm just going to go back to our main splash page. Here's our objectives. And I think I talked about those already. Here's our gasket drawing. So if I click on that, this is the actual PDF with the questions that you'll need to answer. And I think we need to have the architectural one in here too. I'm not sure if it's there yet, but it is located.
It's right there, Joe. If you go up a little bit, Mod 8, Plan 1 PDF, please. Right there. Up
This one?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe.
Let's take a look at it. Right. Okay. So here's Plan 1, and this is what you will fill out. And when you fill out the answers to the question, you can just put on the actual drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and the answers. If you'd like to scan the document in and highlight them or something like that, that's fine as well. But what I find is that when we work on the drawings themselves, if I'm in the drawing and I'm grading it, and then I just go into a text command and I drop the text on here, you can go through and say, let's just say 100 square feet.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, everything you need to know is also on under content, please. So if you click that content button, you're all set.
Yeah, and this is not an accurate answer. I'm just saying it. You can put this on the drawings and it just saves a piece of paper and a little bit of time. And then let's take a look at it. And so if we look at that PDF and we're looking at the Plan 1, what we're looking at is the total square area in feet of all the bedrooms is closest to. Well, this is quite a bit of work to go and do that. But the way you would go and do that is that you would go through and you would calculate out the areas of the room. Now, the numbers that they have are straight from the certification manual. I'm not seeing anything that says with closets removed or anything like that. And so as we go through and we calculate that, what I would do is I would calculate out each room and then I would go and add those up. And so to calculate out the room area, you're going to want to make sure that your object snap is on, and then you're going to go to the measure and you're going to go to the area command, and then you're going to go and you're going to trace around the room. And I'm going to go around every single corner, because I'm going to pretend that I'm buying some really expensive hardwood flooring for this bedroom. And then you hit enter. And then it tells me that the area is 119.19. So we'll call it 119 square feet. And then I'll hit enter to bail out of that. if you hit the F2 key, and so this one says 104. And so I believe when I calculated it out, and now we should probably remove these from the drawing because as we go through and we work this, we've already got that in there. So we'll remove those and repost that. And so I'm just going to delete that. I think they're probably correct. And so if I were to recalculate it without the closet, we can go to measure area, and then I can come over here and measure it without the closet. Let's see if that does it. Enter. And so yes, 104 square feet, 104.065. And then if we come over here, we can go and measure the next one, measure area, and then we'll go through and calculate that out. And we'll get 127.5 square feet. So we'll update this. You guys that are in the Zoom meeting right now have some luck to see some of it. If we go through and we add up those areas, I can go in here and calculate it out. And since you guys are watching the Zoom meeting, well, you get the bonus because you get this answer out of the deal. And so we'll come in here and we'll say 104 plus 127.5 plus 74 equals 305. And so if we look at our available answers, it's closest to B, and they're saying closest. So the first answer would be B. And then when they ask you for the distance from the intersection of corner at A to the intersection at corner of B is closest to, and these are in the videos. And so you have to be able to read the drawing, and you need to look at the PDF. Intersection at A to B would be a distance command from the corner of the bathroom to the corner of bedroom 3. And so we would go to the measure distance and select them in order. So if they go from A to B, then you want to go from A to B. And so we calculate that distance is 26 feet, 10 and a 16th. And then if I look at the answer, 26 feet, 10 inches. So E is my best answer. It's extremely close. So the CAD system is very accurate. We'll also use that for the mechanical drawing. And so if we look at the mechanical drawing here, I'm going to do the calculations in model space. And then if I can locate the PDF for that, let me just come back here and see where I have that.
I do not know where your download went.
Yeah, you know, this is what I mean. I'm getting so glitched up in my computer stuff nowadays. I'll just run it from the window here in D2L because it's not doing what it's supposed to do. The total surface of the area of the gasket with all the rectangles and all 10 holes removed is closest to. And so when we work with something like that, what we want to do is we want to go through and we want to freeze and thaw layers because you don't need all the layers for the dimensions. So I'll turn off the dimension layer. And I also don't need the center line layers. So I'm going to turn those layers off, and then I'm just going to make a layer 0 active. So if I do draw something, I'm not drawing an invisible line. And so what we would do here is we would change these lines to a region because we can make things much quicker in that method. So what I'll do is I'll say region, and I'll put a box around it, and I'll hit enter. And you see they turn black, which means it was changed to the current layer. And then what I'll do is I'll go to the area command and I'll say add area, down arrow, object, and then I'll click on the object. I'll hit enter, and I kind of goofed it up, maybe not. And then I'll say subtract area. Oh, I'm still good. Subtract area, down arrow, object and I'll subtract the shape. And only click on them once or it'll double subtract it and it'll give you an improper calculation. And then I'll hit enter. And so it tells me it's 21.5437. If I hit escape and then I check my answers, 21.54. Perfect. All right, so the first answer is E. And these are in the video. It will show you how to go through and walk through how to do those exercises. All right, so you're to choose either the architectural or the mechanical drawing. There's videos for how to do the drawing assignments. And that's basically it. Al, is there anything else that we want to talk about in today's Zoom meeting? All right, I'll figure that's a no. Okay, so I'm going to end the recording and then open things up for questions.
Sorry about that, Joe, my technology.
Yep, happens to the best of us. All right, I'm going to stop the recording and we'll open up questions for our Zoom participants.
I have a question about